So we are here with Katherine J. Farmer. She is the, what would you say, the mastermind, the researcher, the person
Oh
that
my.
is the reason that we have the story code system. And due to her dedication, and all of a sudden, actually, there was something in the middle of the night it occurred to me, the quiet genius.
Oh no. Oh no.
You
Thank
didn't
you
say that
though.
because you've just been working away.
Right. That's more like it. You're consistent and probably driven.
I'm
But
driven.
that
You're driven.
I'm driven.
You're very
Well,
driven.
I'm driven because I thought it had value, and I felt that was my responsibility, particularly when you consider all the librarians around the country who, like the Houston Library, shut down the downtown Houston Library for a day, and one little library in Webster Groves, Missouri, and one in the back hills of Kentucky, they were shut down for a week to
In
do this.
order,
To do this, one librarian, I'd sent one to each of multiple ones to each state, depending on the population, so I sent it to in New York City. I'd sent it to the downtown New York City branch,
and this
and
is
then
the
I sent
initial first
the
survey.
initial first survey. And then I sent one to the Brooklyn branch because I thought I just can't have oversampled population and they're dealing with basically the same people. But she was so enthusiastic that she took it and she copied it. Here, I copied it. She made 50 copies of this, sent it to all of her 50 branches. They all got together and discussed it and they filled it in and sent it back to me. That's the level of dedication.
And that's like, this is 6 pages
Yeah.
and fairly fine print.
Right. It has all
I
the,
mean,
and like Janet, her group went through for Orem, went through and marked them all. And it was quite, and we had over 70% response, which was really amazing. And they all wrote notes saying, you missed this one. Don't forget this one. Oh, this is really checked out, but mostly adults. Beware, you know? And so we sent a follow-up survey with those that we'd missed. But anyway, it was quite a, quite a lot of work. And
and
then,
you had how many titles on this first research
oh,
survey?
400, about 400.
That
400. Yeah. And then we added the 25 that they suggested. And then we did 5 years later another follow-up survey with another 100 so more. And they marked them. And we included some from the original surveys to see longitudinally how they were doing.
yes.
The ones that said exceptional, if they were still exceptional. We found at 3 or 4 age levels they remained the same. But at one level they changed. And it was your young adult literature. Because but the when we read the ones that were doing exceptionally well, they had the same patterns as the other ones did, but the names were changed, the setting were changed, the language was somewhat changed, but their dynamics were constant. So it was really fascinating.
Because young adults always want the,
Timely.
yeah, what's happening now.
Right, right. So
But
anyway,
they still like the same type of feeling in their story.
they sure do. And they like the same type of characters and the same power dynamics. And anyway, it was fascinating to see that.
And by the fifth, or by that 5 year later
Yeah. This is the
survey,
5 year one. It's a different color.
and had it grown?
What had grown?
How many pages that you sent out?
No, we reduced it
Oh,
because we
okay.
captured most of the data we needed in that one. We just needed to see how they're doing over time. Plus, we had some new ones, and we had a few questions about constancy over time, of course. And then we wanted to see if these new ones had the same dynamics as the older ones did, and they did. And then we had the results, and then we were using this because that was really about 6 years later than the first one. We did a statistical analysis of all those works and figured out the highest rated, the lowest rated, and they were all critically acclaimed, and they were all successful in the marketplace or were absolutely well-known classics, like We Stuck in Alice in Wonderland, because some things needed to be there. That's right. And so we looked at those works, and then we were wondering if the hype. So based on the statistical analysis of this sort of stuff, and we did the content analysis, and technically, you really are not supposed to make predictions based on a statistical analysis. You can say these are patterns, these would suggest this could produce a good hypothesis, and you can say the findings were statistically significant. I mean, 70% of the people are responding the same way, you know. But if you really want to do predictive validity, which is what we were trying to do, you've got to do an experimental study. An experimental study, and there's a term for it, slipped my mind right now. But so we built a computer expert system that then we took some of our hypotheses that derived from that first work for many years to say, and then you can weight certain categories. It looked like those characters were really important, so that has more value. We're going to weight these things to
So
see.
you're just basically going to highlight them so the computer, when they run it through the computer program, that those pop up and you can say, aha, and you can track them.
Yeah, they like for each, whether it was a picture book or, and that the follow-up study, the longitudinal work was 6 years later, so 5 years later, basically. And we wanted to find out um, if if this one, we also at the same time had done survey work with play publishers. Yes. So we know the most frequently produced. So we had done a cross analysis with the early work, but we wanted to add some new plays, and we also wanted to see if we put the expert system on the plays and on the books, could they produce the same predictive validity? I mean, could they say, we knew how those works are doing across the country? Yes, the system didn't know. Surveys, yeah, because the system was blind. The system was blind, and so were those people involved in that, the analysts. These were graduate students from the University of Utah and from Brigham Young University.
And so they came in,
and then they were blind.
Had no idea about any of the past results.
No, we just said, read these books, read these plays. Here's the computer. It'll take you through a branching system of questions. What I was saying before is that to go through a picture book took as long as going through a large, complex bridge to arithmetia or more, you know.
Oh. We might have to dive into that one sometime, because you know my love for picture books. And we have Janet here with us as well, and she definitely loves picture books.
It just took the same amount of time. So anyway, we went through, and then and this one, then we weighted. We thought those role functions seem to be really important, so let's weight them. And a plot patterns, basic human needs. Some things seem to be kind of universally and developmentally specifically important, and we wanted to test it if our hypotheses were right. Yeah. And based on the results from the the computer expert system, we discovered that, in fact, we could predict with intensive decimal points exactly what the national average on the ratings were.